This is our content, sponsored by Geographics Media.
Yo, let me start this episode by talking about the word potential. Potential is having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future.
I'm a liar, barely feel remorse. I'm a cheater, letting my nature take its course.
Let's go. That's the artist Big J. Me, my name is Step, aka Cyncere Wizdumb, the energetic enigma from E-Town. And so this episode, we want to talk about potential. I actually want to talk about potential and how the word potential, in a lot of cases that I've noticed lately, is it can be a word that is very, very misleading. As usual, I'm gonna ride shotgun for a little while. Yo, Jay, you the early bird on this one, brother. What you feel about it, man?
Well, with me, the thing about potential is it's a wonderful thing, but it's also something you have to have a deep understanding of before we decide to rest on just that. Potential is something that can lead to greatness. It can lead to wonderful things. It can lead to success and progress and all kind of wonderful results that the average person or just people in general would want. Some level of success and progression. But the only thing about it is that ultimately what it is, it just means that whatever it is that you have the potential to do, you just not have done it yet. So you don't want to just sit back and rest on your potential and say, okay, well, hey, I'm at this stage in my life. I'm young. I'm talented. I have an aptitude for something great, but I haven't done the work to get there yet. I haven't put in those hours of study and trial and tribulation and hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, like to be cliche, to get where my potential points towards. It's not a statement as to what you are going to be and what you're going to do. It's not an indicator of those things at all. It just means that if you work towards it, if you go for it, if you pay the price and do what you're supposed to do, you got it.
I just want to point out that out of all the time that I've been knowing you, this is my
Mhm.
first time ever hearing you go slightly high octave. If you work for it, if you go for it, I don't know where that came from, but it was dope. Like dope meaning cool, not dope like you've been talking about lately with the hard P. Dope.
That's how we're doing it now.
That was just a great that just sounded wonderful. And I forgot to mention that this is the Hour Content Podcast, and we're talking about potential. And so, Jay, I just been bugging lately because, like I was talking to you earlier about potential can be such a misleading word, as you just pointed out. It's pretty much saying you hadn't done anything yet. I'm getting to a point where I'm now telling people who have potential that they have potential. However, I am mentioning to them that in order to bring that potential into fruition, there is some work involved. There
Mhm.
is some work involved. There is a lot of work involved when trying to reach one's potential. My friend, his name is Chambers, was talking to me the other day, and he and I had the same discussion. And he said to me that the word potential has really derailed so many people in so many ways, not the people that are viewed as having potential, but the people who see those certain individuals as having potential and investing into that potential that these people never ever try to pursue or try to bring out.
Mhm.
Do you think in your lifetime you ever invested into someone based on potential but ended up getting burned?
Yeah. I mean, I think Yeah, I've definitely done that, like helping people get jobs and stuff like that, and then
Good point.
then they don't do what they're supposed to do, or at least they just don't. They don't handle it in they don't approach the job in the way that I think that they should. I would say that definitely. I've gotten burned on that. When I was a art director for a nonprofit, our network fam, I love y'all. I had a whole bunch of artists that I would work with. Some of them were my own artists that were part of the crew, and some were other artists that were just coming through, and they would participate in one of our art shows. And I've had some artists that were really good artists, and they had the potential to do a lot of great things. And you know, I did my best to try to present their artwork in a way that made them look good and present it the best way that I know how. And having them shown alongside of already successful artists, but them just not taking it as serious as them not taking their craft as serious as I was taking it upon myself to present it. So I started looking at what you were doing before we crossed paths. You know, were you putting yourself in situations and the places that would will steer you towards your goal? You know, have you sat down and mapped out and declared what your goals are for your life? You know, because a lot of times I think what happens is when you're a person who has a lot of resources, you want to if you know you want to help people and you start trying to look to help people who don't necessarily want to be helped, you know, or they want you to do everything for them, and that in and of itself is not helping someone doing everything for them. You gotta hold people accountable and see what they're doing before that, and just see, hey, this person they put a lot of work into this. They're already doing, you know, A, B, or C. So let me help them, you know, get to Z. You know, whatever my little bit is. Let me help them get there. But people who really want stuff, they're going to be very thankful to you for what you've done, but they're not going to look at you as a person that's going to be the only one that's going to get them there. They're going to look at themselves and say, what do I need to do working with you alongside you? You know, how can I help you help me? You see what I'm saying? The
Uh-huh.
person who really wants it, that's how they approach stuff like that.
So with me, the thing that really is bugging me out as far as people's potential is the fact that, and you said something just now that made me think. You were talking about how we can see the potential in somebody, and you said that in the situation where you were burned, those particular persons or person didn't do the work, didn't put in the work that you felt like they should have. So I think
Mhm.
a lot of times in situations we see stuff in people that they don't see in themselves,
Mhm.
and a lot of the times we want it more than they want it for themselves. So
Mhm.
so the thing that's really getting me lately is how people are beginning to, I've talked to several people lately that men and women, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
Mhm.
and they're speaking of various relationships that they've been in, some short term, some long term. And when I spoke to these people and asked, how did you end up in certain business relationships? How did you end up in certain, relationships? How did you end up in certain friendships with these individuals? The thing that they had in common is, well, I liked his or her potential. I dated his or her potential. I fell in
Mhm.
love with his or her potential. This was a great business partner because of his or her potential. And
Mhm.
to me, you're seeing something in that person that it can be real, it can be genuine, it can be very fake. But I don't understand how people can just jump out the window based on one's potential. in us recording our podcast, it's been several times where we've talked about the educators that we had that saw our potential.
Mm-hmm.
The caveat is they saw it, they acknowledged it, they pointed it out, and then they made us work. We had to do the work. Jay, you got the potential to go to Morehouse. You got the potential to go to Stanford. You got the potential to be the greatest artist of all time. So here's your college application. Here's your drawing utensils. Here's your textbook so you can study for this test. And check in with me so we can make sure you're doing what you need to do in order to get to that next level. And people begin to make decisions based on someone else's potential, get burned, and then pretty much what I've noticed, they'll burn the next person because they're angry, and it causes a rift, it causes a divide. It's such a misleading word. You have the potential to do this, or certain things have the potential of happening. That's all well and good. But the problem is, and I think we have pinpointed it, we place a lot on people outside of ourselves thinking that they would do or react the way that we do or the way that we think that they should based on what we do.
Right.
It's such a misleading word. And I'm to the point where it really bothers me when people, well, he has potential, she has potential. Based on what? What are you basing this on? I know a situation where this person was hired on a job, and you mentioned the job, because the lady who was doing the hiring, her kid had a crush on the guy.
Wow.
And the guy was brought on, and the hiring manager, well, he has the potential to do so and so. And then it turned into, he is so cute. Look at him. So he has potential because you think that he's a cutie.
Right.
That dude came in and freaking wreaked havoc. He did nothing, and he was violent. He was abusive to her kid. It was some melee that
I've
I
seen
can't
stuff
even
like that
explain.
before.
Word, really?
I've seen it at one place that I worked at before, not currently, but I saw where there was a like supervisor, manager, whatever, who just you could tell she was just something about her. She just was feeling a new person who started with me. You know, we kind of came in at the same time, so we went through like an orientation situation, and so I just kept hearing her voice saying this guy's name over and over and over again. I was like, what's the deal? You know, like you keep saying this guy's name over and over again. You know, we're all like roughly around the same age. I'm older than him, but I'm closer. I'm actually older than both of them. Actually, this is for like a part-time gig, and I just kept hearing like the way when somebody keeps saying a person's name over and over and over again, like they want to hear this person's name so bad. They want
Right.
to that they keep saying it over and over again. It's a bit of a infatuation going on, so to
Oh
speak.
yeah.
That's what it was, and I was like, okay, this guy he cool with me, but you putting a little too much on it. Like we just got here, and and the more I worked, like I was doing my work, getting all my stuff done, being as professional as I can, but he wasn't quite as, dare I say, professional. He was kind of rough around the edges, used a lot of language that shouldn't have been used in the workplace, kind of loud. But at the end of the day, he was still a good guy. You see what I'm saying? But it's just, I think that she just was putting so much on him because there was some level of attraction going on from her to him. And I know he wasn't really thinking about her because me and him used to just talk and we just would laugh or whatever. And I was like, that's not even on his mind. But she liked something about the guy, and she just kept putting something on it. And he was only there for like a little while. Then he ended up quitting anyway. So sometimes potential is kind of they'll call it potential, or they'll speak of it as its potential, but it's really just can be someone actually having a liking to some type of attraction to another person, and then
Mm.
they're seeing potential that's really not there. They're taking a very small aspect of this person's personality and looking past so many other red flags, and they're just blowing this thing up because they're attracted to this person, and they want it to be something, or they want this person to be successful. And potential can be something where we tend to put unfair expectations on a person, because even though we see potential in someone because of something that they have or something that they've shown you, does not mean that this person wants to do that. Doesn't mean this person wants to go in that direction. Doesn't mean the person even sees it. This person knows himself just probably better than we do. So they know what they want to do. And it might not be that they don't want to do anything. It might not be that they just want to lay around and just be sorry. That might not be a passion. They might be good at something, but that doesn't mean that they're passionate about it. And it doesn't mean that they're looking at it as something that they want to pursue for their life. So that's another thing about potential is we have to be careful. People have to be careful about seeing potential in someone and wanting to steer them into a certain direction, and not knowing the totality of what this person is capable of doing. What are their other strengths? What are they good at? What is their passion? Because they might be good at math, but they might really be into science. You see what I'm saying? They might be good at music, but they want to go into education or something like that, and they might be good at both things. They might be good at more than just those two things. So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because we see something or someone sees something that's in another person that they have to go in that direction. That if the resources is there, I get it. You're saying I have the resources to help you. I have the resources. I see a need that could be filled, and you could be that person that could do it, and you could benefit, you could profit from that. But we can't make someone go in a direction or have a vision that they just don't have.
Correct. And you just made me think about how it could be misleading on both ends. When we first started talking about it, and all the times that we've talked about it, I've talked about how I was thinking from the position of me seeing potential in someone else, how it can be, well, not me per se, but just one can see potential in someone else, and it can be misleading when it doesn't pan out for the person that sees it. But you have
Right.
also pointed out that how it can also be misleading for the opposite party because that's not what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you see this potential in me to be this great mathematician, and I love math, but it's not what I want to do. I'm actually a great trumpet player. So when they start putting time in to be a mathematician, they're being misled by a person that believes in them. And it might not be intentional, but
Mm-hmm.
they're trying so hard to to make something pan out basically for someone else because that person believes in them.
Mm-hmm.
So case in point, I got to bring a movie up, Good Will Hunting. You ever seen Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon?
Yeah, I
It-
think
it-
so.
where he was this brilliant kid, and he solved
Robin
them.
Williams.
Yes, that's a
Okay.
perfect example of someone who is was had all of the potential in the world, but he was being not intentionally misled, but people had their own personal stakes in it to me. Now he ended
Mm-hmm.
up following his own path, doing what he said that he did not really want to do, but he did it on his terms
Mm-hmm.
instead of what somebody else was telling him, because it gets to a point where somebody can think that you have potential, and they try to steer you away from the people who love you the most because you don't agree with how those people are in certain cases. Um, but to reach one's potential, they do have to change their mindset to go. I mean, to even set their own lane, to get up off the couch, to get up from whatever you're doing, to start going towards what you want to achieve or what one believes that you can achieve. You have to
Right.
set those goals, like you said. You have to have emotional intelligence, and you have to change your mindset to be more of a growth mindset. And but you have to focus and be you.
Right.
I wish I had $1 for everybody who told me about my voice. We like your voice. I hate my voice, by the way. But hey, it's my voice. I can't trade it in. But you should be on radio. You should be this or that. Cool. I'm glad that you think that I have the potential to do that. And it got to a point where I said, hey, I should try to do this. But now look at us. Now we kind of doing it.
I
We
was just
kind of
about
do
to say that. That's kind of what we're doing right now.
right. But on our terms.
Right. Yeah.
On our terms. Because one or two people thinking I have the potential to do it, and I start being discouraged by people who in some cases might think I'm dope and can do it and be a hater. And then on the other side, being encouraged by people that can't put me in the position. That's
Right.
that's they juxtapose each other. And so doing it out on our own terms, it makes me happy, just like it makes you happy. This is a great example. Even coaches, bro. If you are a football player, if you are a high school running back,
I was just about to
averaging
say something. But yeah.
100 yards a game or more.
Hey, it's Jason Thomas, aka Big J. I just wanted to say thank you all for supporting our content. We put a lot of love and effort into what we do, and I just want to say thank you all who watch us, who support us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Peace.
The college recruit sees your potential. This person is getting 100 yards in high school. We can get this kid, get his mind strengthened, get his body strengthened, because on this next level, there is more competitive. You got bigger people that you got to go against. But with his potential, if we bring this person out, we work this person hard, make them stronger, make them better, they'll be successful. People can't believe how the skills have gotten. The NFL scout sees the same kid in college, knocking him loose. He got potential to do this for in the NFL, and they just work. And that's all in them setting certain goals, beefing them up a certain way, changing their mindset as far as their workout, as far as their diet, and just making that change to hash that potential into its fullest. People can't believe how the skills have gotten. But those athletes that don't work, they come back home. It's work in it. And when we talking about people that fall in love with someone's potential in relationships and any type, working relationships that I mentioned earlier, in certain cases, we're just fooling ourselves. In certain cases, we're just fooling ourselves. That's another way that they can be the potential can be so misleading. We're fooling ourselves. We're misleading ourselves in a lot of cases to try to make someone, again, something that they're not. This pimp is going to be my husband because he has the potential to be my husband. I can change him. I can change her because she has the potential to do this. Well, be that as it may, because he is, open the door for you. He has that potential, but is he willing to put that work in to be that? And that is the problem. That is the problem, man. That is the problem. I don't know you. We put all of this on other people instead of seeing them for who they truly are. Do they have the capacity to grow and change their mindsets in order to reach the so-called potential that we see?
Yeah, you're right. And as a parent, we have to be very, very careful with that potential thing because
Oh my goodness, yes.
as a parent, sometimes we've had certain things that we wanted to do, and either we didn't work hard enough, or we didn't have the resources to do it, or just for whatever reason we didn't accomplish a certain goal in life, and then we have a child, or we have a family, and we see that spark of potential or aptitude in that child, and then we start trying to live vicariously through
Vicariously.
the child, and trying to use what they have to to have some level of success, in our family, in that field of expertise that we weren't as successful in it as we wanted to be. You want to be a boss so bad, and so we have to be careful with that because you're trying to put your own hopes and dreams onto your child, and that is totally unfair. That was your life to do that with, and now if the child says that's what they want to do, great. Hey, be right there for them. Be their coach. Be their biggest cheerleader. You know, look out for them and guide them on a good path, but don't try to make your child do something um, that you never were able to do at
Right.
a higher level,
Correct.
just because they're good at it. They might not care anything about that. You out there throwing a baseball with your son, and you want to play baseball, and you weren't necessarily able to go to the big leagues, to the pros, to the big leagues, and all he's trying to do is spend time with his dad.
Why don't you catch the ball, son? Would that make you love me? In the movie Wedding Crashers, man, would that make you love me? Todd, play football.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Like,
we got the clown a little bit too, but it's true, man. People,
yeah,
that is another form, and some of these people don't even have the potential. They just don't even want to do it. He can't catch, throw. He don't want to do it, but he's the best doggone poet ever. But
right.
it's not good enough.
Right. That's why it's best for parents, honestly. And I'm gonna get off of this, but it's best just for parents to just lead your children into making good decisions more than anything else. Stay out of trouble. Uh, Knowing that if you want to do something, just you're gonna have to work at it, but just make wise decisions. Uh, don't make any decision in haste. Don't just rush into stuff. Uh, Learn the pitfalls, or see red flags in bad relationships, and just real
What
life advice. Just
what
lead your kids into that. Don't try to
what
push them into
I
something else.
I I have a firm belief that, and we mentioned relationships, or we mentioned that earlier. I think that people make real bad decisions based on the potential that their supposed love interests have, or what they think that they have. And
Yeah,
that, here's our word, that so-called potential
yeah.
can lead to so much manipulation
Mm-hmm.
from that other party. It makes no sense. It happens a lot, man. Potential is such a misleading word because it can take on so many different forms. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, the potential that we know and love is that potential that people see in themselves. They work at it. They go
Mm-hmm.
for it. They have a die hard work ethic. They put their 10,000 hours in. They don't
Right.
just talk about it. The worst thing in the world, Jason, I think you had the potential to be a great lawyer. Okay.
Right.
And you don't read a law book.
Right.
You don't study it. And so that at the end of the day, it's about putting the work in. And if you believe that someone has the potential and it's genuine, then you help them. You pick them
Mm-hmm.
up and you walk with them, and you take them down the path. But you want to know what it is that they want to do versus what we think they should want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is misleading. It is
Mm-hmm.
misleading. I thank God because the people that thought we had potential, talk to us. What do you want to do? What do you see yourself? What do you like? And if we gave them 10 different things that we like, they help us narrow it down to 5, and then down to 4, 3, 2, and 1. But they also let us know you might be great at this one thing, but once you're inside of this one thing, it can spin off to you being great at something else. You can be very multifaceted.
Yeah.
Once you know how to reach your goal, once you set them and know how to reach them, and you know your potential. I'm not going to get out here. Right. I'm not going to get out here and say I can be the greatest basketball player in the world, even though I can dribble. I might not be able to cross cats up like Iverson.
Right.
We also have to know our own limitations. Can be misleading. You can have someone thinking that they can do these things that they really don't have the capacity to do too. So we have to be careful. I can think of 100 ways how potential is the word potential, or how, depending on the context of it, depending on the diction, how it's used, can mislead the person that we see and the person that we are in ourselves. Potential is a misleading. It's a word that can mislead, bro. And
And potential can also be weaponized in a misleading fashion by the person who actually has that potential. And when I say that, it's they can use that specifically in relationships. When and fellas, I gotta get on the fellas. Now
preach.
y'all know if we're good at something and we do have potential to be good at something, go ahead and just work on that if that's what you're trying to do, and stop trying to use that to get girls and wasting your time. And if you pretty good at something, but you know you're not really working at it, but you just using your little talent and your skill just to pull the wool over these women's eyes and to get them after you and to try to get girls, stop it, man. Because like what's gonna happen is you ruin these women for the next person, because all you were doing was, oh yeah, you know, I'm pretty good at basketball. I'm working with all these coaches, and I'm trying to go pro. And all you really doing is hanging out, getting high or getting drunk, or just playing a whole bunch of other women. You're not practicing. You're not seeing those scouts. You don't really have a true work ethic. All you really want to do is shine just enough so where you can be popular and get some girls and fool some ladies so you can, do what you want to do with them. But at the end of the day, you're more into try to get girls than you are really working on what you should be working on, or at least doing something more constructive than just running after girls. Guys, I gotta get at you for that, because as a guy, I've seen it. I might have even done it before, but I'm just trying to say, guys, we got to do better than that, man. We can't just be out here, using what we have in a very low hanging fruit kind of way with some ladies.
What are they getting high on?
They're getting high on dope. That's exactly what they're getting high on. Dope and opium and
Opium.
PCP. Eddie Griffin said PCP.
And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks. So, but that was a shout out to Eddie Griffin, bro. You are a great talent. So, bro, I think we've said it all on this one, bro. I just think that we had to do a little vent session for me about the word potential and how it can mislead, and you have opened up my eyes, to how the various ways it can be misleading for on all parties, and how it can be utilized to, girl, he got the potential to dump. So I'm going to be with him. I'm going to give him some money to go to camp. I'm going to buy him some shoes because he going to give it back when he get to the pros. I'm sorry.
Right. He got to go to practice first to do all that.
You know my classic line. He got to go to the studio to drop his album, dog. He got to record at some point. And so, as usual, we thank all of the people who rock with us. You can get with us on social media somewhere. You can get at us on Spotify, Our Content Podcast. You can get it us youtube.com/@ Our Content Podcast, Apple Podcast, Our Content Podcast, Instagram, Our Content Podcast, X, formerly Twitter, Our Content Pod, Gmail. Our email rather is ourcontentpodcast@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to us and just drop us a line to help us out and just, give us some positive feedback. We don't want your negative energy. Just give us stuff to help make the platform better. Jay, what you got, bro?
Yeah, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us one more time. Live up to your potential, go for your dreams, and stay off that dope. If that's your dream, then I'm not gonna tell you to do it. But hey, at least you know what you want to do.
With that being said, always remember, as usual, keep God first, love each other, and just keep rocking with us, man. We appreciate y'all. Get at you next time. Peace.